You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hi, I'm Joe Heath.
I'm Toni Heath.
And this is the Watch-A-Thon of Rassilon. What are you doing?
We're an asthma podcast now.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Did I ruin it?
Yes!
Today we're going to be talking about the 5th serial of the 22nd season of Doctor Who, Timelash, which consists of 2 episodes that aired from March 9th, 1985 to March 16th, 1985.
True facts!
And I want to give a special shout out to Ian McLean for sponsoring this episode.
Thank you, Ian. I think I should explain just in case.
Toni was rubbing their face against the microphone.
Oh, it was not. I have a new fidget and it's amazing. And it helps to have a fidget when recording podcasts because we usually, let me just mute my Discord real quick.
Because usually Toni's fidgets make so much noise, like a Discord server notification going off. Like that?
Discord has been muted. I have to have fidgets because it's really tough for me to sit still for 2+ hours sometimes to do the podcast.
Only when Christine or Ben are on.
I have a new one. I've been trying to find quiet ones so that I can use them while I do the podcast, and this one's pretty quiet. But if you hear this, I'm going to try and make sure that you don't hear it. I'm trying to be good. But if you do, that's what it is. It's very good. I want to describe what it's like, but I don't know how. Can you help me out?
It's like a toy I used to have, but I don't remember what.
It's got like little rubber fingers.
Yeah, it's like a little Brillo pad, but feels good.
Yeah, but it's like silicone. It's real good. It's one of my favorite fidgets I've ever had. Like I've been using it pretty constantly.
That's good. That's what it's for. It'd be a real crap stim toy if you're like, this feels like garbage and I don't want it.
This feels bad to hold.
Yeah.
Although I tried to share it and give it to somebody else and they were like, don't like it.
Speaking of new things, I got earrings. Have I talked about that on the podcast yet?
I don't think so.
I got my ears pierced on Toni's birthday.
On my birthday. It was great. It was a good time.
Yeah. We had some people over vaccinated people over for your birthday, including, hey, thanks, Matt Golden.
Yeah. Who also got his ears pierced, and you kind of stole his thunder and stepped on his moment.
I did. We had a friend over. We have a chat that we're all in, and the Matt was like, where can I go to get my ears pierced? And one of our other friends, Abby, was like, I can pierce your ears. And like, well, we're all going to be at Toni's birthday party on Friday or whatever.
Abby, by the way, this is not like a safety pin scenario. Abby has professional equipment and has done this many times.
Well, great. Well, we'll be together that day. We'll get Matt's ears pierced. And then Matt got his ears pierced, and then he was like, Joe, you should do it. And I was like, should I? Maybe I should. And then I did it. And they look great, and I look great. And just want to say, hey, thanks, Matt Golden.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Joe looks great.
That's good that we had this story to tell because we wouldn't have had a hey, thanks, Matt otherwise.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say because we don't have a whole heck of a lot to talk about.
Oh, that is also true. But this one was sponsored by Ian, who we chat with a lot on our Discord server.
Yeah. Ian's privy to all sorts of opinions of ours.
Yeah. If you are a friend of Rassilon, you also get access to our Discord server if you're a Patreon patron. I think at any level, right?
Yeah, we've got lots of pictures of cute animals. There's a channel just for that. Lots of us talking about Doom Patrol, whatever we're watching, really, which means we were
talking about Merlin for a while. Oof.
Yeah, we've talked about Merlin. We've talked about Doom Patrol.
Spoilers, the ending of Merlin sucks ass.
If you want to hear Joe complain about the ending of Merlin for hours on end, join our Discord.
So, speaking of bad episodes of television,
yes.
Should we talk about Timelash?
Great segue.
Thank you. A serial so renowned for being bad that literally everyone that we know, we were like, we're watching Timelash, like, we got so many people like, oh boy, sorry.
Good luck.
Nathan Law said that this serial, the anagram for it is lame shit, which is appropriate. Felicity, Cousinets, said, because we were like, who wants to watch it with us? And she's like, oh God, I'm not getting pulled into this again, because I think she did the Timelash episode of Earth Station Who. So I think Alan's the only person who was like, it's not that bad. There's some fun things in it. But Alan.
Oh, Alan.
I love Alan, but I think he has a soft spot for Six. So.
Alan's also just very good at enjoying things.
Yes,
in a way
true.
that I probably am not.
There's a couple other people who are like, oh boy. Including Ian. Ian, who bought us this.
Ian's like, I sponsored this. Bought you this DVD. And, it's a piece of shit. Thanks, Ian.
When, we have the Amazon wish list, and you can send a little note along if you purchase a DVD for us. Ian said, total waste of H.G. Wells. Ironically loved by some. Mad set design. Extremely crazy idea. Laugh out loud in places. Actually good prosthetic. Stupid ending. Hated by critics.
I saw nothing incorrect in there.
No, that's all legit. We don't even have to do this episode.
Yeah, that's it. We described it. That's all you need to know. I will say, okay, obviously this episode is boring, and that's part of the reason why we're faffing around having to talk about it, because the plot sucks. I feel like Doctor Who, as a show, when that is true, and like they know they just have a real stinker of a script on their hands, the design team just goes fucking nuts. They just lose their minds.
I heard some complaints about the design.
About the design?
Yeah.
It's literally the only thing that this episode has going for it.
That's true. They don't like the tinsel, and they don't like the Timelash itself. Say it's too small. I think they're wrong.
I think they're wrong, too.
I think this looks great.
The design is the only somewhat interesting part of this whole serial. They've got killer sets. They've got killer costumes.
Perry's outfit even looks good.
What is Perry's outfit?
Not wild like it normally is.
I think Perry walks out and you see her for the first time and I'm like, she looks like she's dressed for a job interview.
She doesn't look like she's dressed by a gross man.
And Six got a haircut.
Yeah, something looks weird about his hair. I'm not sure.
It's shorter.
It's crunchy looking too. I don't know if there's product in it or something. I don't know. So that's how we start, is we get a good look at her outfit and his new hair. And then they bicker about where to go.
They're fighting, it seems to be...
Oh, we skipped the thing I do, by the way. This is episode 1, which I've called the 2 amulets. That's how badly we want to get through this. We're just blazing right through it. Yeah, they do the thing where they just bicker. And that's the introduction of this episode. That was actually something that both Nicola Bryant and Colin Baker were a little annoyed about. They felt like they had moved away from the bickering.
I also thought that.
And they're like, why is it back? This episode was written by someone who had only written 2 episodes of television before on another show.
Boise.
I think he was an ambulance driver or something. Even on I watched the making of it. He was like, I didn't have much under my belt and I had a lot left to learn. So.
Can you literally even imagine a world where that could happen? Where you're like, hey,
yes, we're living in it.
I'm saying today.
Oh.
Could you imagine being like, hey, I only really have experience as a truck driver, but I'd really love to write an episode of Doctor Who.
Well, he had written 2 episodes of another show before this, so it wasn't like he is completely brand new.
I mean...
Also, they let the guy who show ran Iron Fist do another Marvel show.
Why?
And you know what? It was worse. Inhumans and Iron Fist, both done by the same...
Infuriating to me. Do you know how many insanely talented people I know who are
most of them have been on this podcast.
Who are living in shitty apartments and writing amazing things and producing it themselves.
Yeah.
And we gave the guy who did Iron Fist another television show?
Yeah. To be fair, I'm not sure which came first, Iron Fist or Inhumans. But either way, Either one should have been assigned not to do the other.
Hire new people. People are talented. Okay, I'm sorry.
Hire me.
Very
I'm
upset.
talented. Right?
Yes.
You were very hesitant to say that.
It wasn't. I was thinking other thoughts.
Okay, sure. So where were we?
We literally got to, you see Six and Perry. They look different.
They bicker.
They fight, and it sucks because it's exactly what we thought that they weren't doing anymore. Then we get to the fucking...
The main plot.
I'm reading these names out of your notes, and I don't know who any of these fuckers
No,
are.
it's fine. They all get taken out of the story fairly quickly. There's a group of rebels. Aram, Tahir, and Gazik.
I've never
I don't
seen
know
these
why
names
I wrote
before in
down
my
their
life.
names. They're not going to be in the plot much longer.
Did they die?
Some do.
Okay.
Or I guess they all do. They basically are running away from something. We don't know what. We know they're rebels, basically, and they want to take out the Borad, but they fear the Timelash.
That sentence with all the, these are the words.
Yeah.
That's how the whole fucking serial
Serial
is. Is here's some bullshit sci-fi words for everything so that you basically have nothing to hold on to. It's not like there are engaging characters
Oh, God,
or
no.
interesting concepts.
Well, there's some interesting concepts, but...
Maybe, but not well executed ones.
Oh, God, no. So basically, though, what they're saying is there's a corrupt leader, the Borad, and they want to take him out, but they're afraid of getting caught because the punishment is the Timelash. And they are running from these guards in beekeeper outfits. That's the first interesting design. They have, shoulders up to their fucking ears,
Yeah.
and they have giant beekeeper hats on.
It's pretty rad.
Back on the TARDIS, they see that they are heading for a time corridor, which is just some swirly lights on the screen. I think Perry mentions with the Daleks. Was she there for that? She wasn't there for that.
Maybe she just heard a story about it. Maybe the doctor told her.
It does seem like the Doctor talks about the past a lot to her because her knowledge of his past will come in handy later. But they find out they're going to Earth. The time corridor goes to Earth, 1179 AD, which is somewhat important, but also it's dumb. Well, there's a whole scene about it later. So anyway, they basically fuck around with this for a while. They don't get into the main plot for a very long time.
By the time they show back up, I was like, ah!
Yeah,
This is Doctor Who. I forgot.
That note I just read was number 4. They don't show up again in my notes until number 14 because they just don't do shit. They're just they fuss around in the TARDIS for ever. So the rebels get caught by the beekeepers and what I call the Doug androids.
Doug androids. Explain why you call them the Doug androids.
They wear jumpsuits with gigantic shoulder pads that...
Yeah, this serial's all about those shoulder pads.
It's like a tie-dye-ish looking color on the jumpsuits. To me, they look like Superman ice cream. That's a very specific reference, but it may even be an American reference. I don't know. But they got Superman swirled ice cream jumpsuits. Their faces are bright-ass blue. Their hair is yellow. To me, they look like a character from the show Doug.
Which character?
Skeeter, I guess. He's blue, right?
I think you're thinking of Mr. Dinkelberg.
No.
Or whatever his name is. Skeeter's green.
He's green?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't really watch Doug. I didn't like Doug. But anyway, he looks...
Doug was one of my favorite shows growing up. I'm so offended.
Is that his name? Skeeter?
Skeeter, and he's green.
I'm Googling it.
You're gonna Google it, and he's gonna be teal, and this is gonna be this fight all over again.
He's fucking teal. You know what, though? He does look more green. Sometimes he looks blue. Some of these pictures, he looks blue. It could be my TV's a little
He looks blue in
off.
some and green in others. It's hard to say.
Whoa, why does Patty Mayonnaise have huge boobs in this one picture? So yeah, not only do they look cool, later they talk and they sound cool.
They have this weird
sing-songy voice.
It's very vocoder kind of.
But they do speak like they're singing. There's a musical intonation to their... it always lilts up.
It's good.
This is the way that they talk. It's great. Anyway, they get caught. One of them gets taken to the Borad. We do not see the Borad's face till episode 2. He has a giant flipper. We see that. He's sitting in a wheelchair type of situation, and he does things, and he shoots people, and everybody looks at him and goes, "What? You're the Borad? What?" That happens a lot. But he kills one of them, one of the rebels, and the rest get caught. And then we meet Micros and Vina, who are characters that will stick around, but they're completely not memorable. but they are our sort of main characters of this plot line. They are a married couple. They just meet and they just dump exposition just right off the bat. They just say a lot of stuff. It doesn't even feel like dialogue. It just feels like explaining stuff to the audience.
It's like, thank you for that exposition.
Hey, you know how the Borat, isn't it weird how he's always just on a screen and we don't see him in person? Hey, did you know that like stuff is bad? Hey, did you know we're at war with our former allies, the Bandrels? Hey, he literally says, how good of a Borat must he be if we are at war with our former allies, the Bandrels? I know who we're at war with. Jesus, I'm your fucking wife. You don't have to tell me. Vina does look kind of cool, though. She's got like a big purple dress thing, reddish purple.
I don't remember any of this.
Micros,
so you're kind of on your own for a while.
Micros just has slicked back blonde hair and looks like a Luke Skywalker ripoff. The Bandrels, though, we'll see them eventually. They're like just puppet worms, and they're...
Can I watch this shit?
They only call in on the screen.
Okay, yes, the Bandrels. Yes.
They look like puppet snakes.
I like
or
the
something.
Bandrels.
They're really cool looking.
Yeah.
Again, that's something else. Like on the documentary, they're complaining about the way they looked. And it's like, it's a good thing we only saw them from a distance. And I was like, they look cool.
I liked them.
The 2 rebels that were caught, the remaining 2, are brought in and sentenced by Malin Rennis. Again, don't bother learning his name. But Malin is sort of, that's a title. That's like the
He's
leader.
He's going to die, though, and then there's going to be a new one.
And then that guy's going to die, and then there's going to be a new one. There's 3 Malins throughout this whole thing.
I'm bored of this!
They get sentenced to the Timelash. And this is brought to you by the Borad, who appears on a screen. We see the Borad. He's just a normal-looking dude. We'll later find out he's not a normal-looking dude. But do you know who that is?
The Phantom of the Opera.
He's been on the show twice before. I don't remember the first time, but he was Professor Cranitis in Shada.
Oh.
So, yeah, they totally waste him here. They get thrown into the Timelash. The Timelash, how would you describe it? It's just like a door.
Yeah. It's a glowing door that hurts to walk through.
There's like a little console thing next to it that has a diamond on it. You press some buttons, the door turns into static, and then you have to push people through it very awkwardly. Oh God, remember they pushed that first rebel through and he just goes, ah!
It was great.
It was so
a highlight
undramatic.
of the serial. Oh no.
Oh no, I'm dead. And what it does is it throws you into the past somewhere.
Which doesn't even seem that bad.
I mean, isn't that what the angels do?
Yeah, and it's like, oh, don't let them touch you. It's scary. They'll put you in the past. And it's like, I mean, I guess it's bad. Like,
wow, your white privilege is showing.
This is what I'm saying. Definitely it's bad if you're like underprivileged in any way.
Also, it seems like it throws you on another planet. This does.
And like you don't have any Wi-Fi and that sucks. But I feel like you're gonna get back to the future eventually, right? Like,
sure. I mean, it depends on how far back you get thrown.
That's true.
Anyway, they get thrown through. Renus, the leader, is the father of Vina and is very sexist towards her.
Yeah.
He like turns to Micros and is like, she's your wife, so you better, keep her in line.
She
and he's
keeps
like,
having
I will.
opinions. You need to stop her from having thoughts.
And then like Micros sort of, I do kind of like this, but he kind of sort of sidesteps it by saying like, she agrees with me or whatever. She will agree with me. Or he says something, but basically what he's saying is, I agree with her, but he's saying it in a way that it sounds like he's like, I'll get her around to our way of thinking. But really, there's some clever wordplay there that I kind of liked. Does not continue.
I mean, that is the end of it.
Micros sneaks around and follows...
we have to do something because this is just as boring now.
Well,
we have to. I'm falling asleep.
There's interesting stuff to talk about. We're getting there. So Micro sneaks into a room with the leader Renus.
Who are these people?
I've explained who they are. Micro sneaks into this room with the leader and asks him to do a betrayal. He wants him to take out the Borad.
Hey, will you do a betrayal?
Yeah, and they're in this room that's supposedly not monitored because it will interfere with the equipment, because this is what powers the place. We also learn that he's got these 2 amulets, and that's how he controls the machine to direct the power. And we also learn that mirrors are banned because one of the amulets is a mirror. And Micros is like, what? How do you have a mirror? How does he know what a mirror is? I guess they were recently
used to have
banned.
mirrors, and then they were banned. Maybe not recently, but maybe like within living memory.
The reason mirrors are banned is stupid and awful. But there is something really cool in here. Can you guess what it is? It's the design.
It's the design. Let's talk about the design.
Because he pulls open the machine that powers this planet or whatever, and it slides up, and it's just full of like crystals and stuff. And somebody said something funny on the live stream. I don't remember what it was. Christine compared it to something, and I thought that it was very apt, and now I don't remember what it was.
She said it looked like rock candy.
Yes, that's exactly what it looks like.
Only with lights inside.
Which is rad. It's really cool. This is the only time we see it. Then we find out that the Borat has given him orders, the leader, to direct all of the power to his vault. All the power except for what's powering the Timelash. And that's going to fuck stuff up.
Like, they're not going to have enough power to, like, live off of, basically.
Yeah, and, like, Renus's wife, the leader's wife, is on, like, life support. And it's like, this might kill your wife, because it's going to take all the power away from, like, the hospital and stuff. And he's like, well, gotta do what I gotta do. Micro says he wants to kill the Bull Rat and he wants Renus to join him, but Renus is like, I can't and I won't. But he's like, I won't stop you, though. You do what you need to do, but I can't join in. And then we see the Borat listening in. This room is monitored somehow. Turns out, we'll later find out it's the amulets, has like a listening device in it.
Here's another thing. Why even do all of that? There's so much that is overwritten in places.
Oh, God, yes.
Where
Every
it's like,
scene in this could be half as long.
Where it's just like they explain things, and it's like, I'm not watching this because I love to have shit explained to me. That's not the part of the show that is interesting. Where it's just like, oh, but I did hear him. I heard him in this communication device that I put in the amulet that works like this. And it's like, I don't care how it works. I get it.
Right.
They thought that they weren't being listened to, but they were. It's so much setup for very little payoff. This isn't like a great example, but it gets worse. And it's how this thing is written over and over and over again. It's like,
and then it gets better right at the end, and I found out it's because they cut out a whole long exposition thing and then just turned it into a joke because they're like, it's too much.
Please, it's too much. We can't take any more exposition.
And the thing is, it's a thing that I was like, wait, how did he get out of this? And then he doesn't explain it. In fact, someone's like, how did you do this? And he's like, I'll tell you later.
I'll tell you later.
And it was actually really hilarious. But also, it's like the one thing I was like, well, that's actually something I'd kind of like to know how it happened. But it almost felt like a punchline to all this fucking boring exposition for the whole thing. Meanwhile, in the TARDIS, I don't know what the Doctor and Perry are doing. They have connected belts to themselves that are connected to the console, and they're just terrible effects are happening while they swing themselves around.
Perry's like, we've never had to do this before.
And he's like, yeah, we got a bad time. Come on. Oh, no! I will say the first effect is terrible. It's like choppy, and it hurt my eyes. The second effect is more warping, and that actually looks cool. That I'm for. But I think they're like going down the time corridor or some shit, and they gotta, I don't know, ride the wave. The leader, Renus, is taken to Borat, where Borat's like, hey, listen, I was listening in, haha. There was a microphone hidden in the black scented amulet. I looked this up. He says black scented amulet.
What does that mean?
I don't know. What does black smell like? Or, okay, is it saying it's scented black, or is it saying it's black, comma, the scented amulet that is also black. Also, why is it scented? Why does it smell like anything? It's a fucking amulet that you put in a computer.
It's scratch and sniff. I hid it in your special scratch and sniff necklace.
You know, when you're like powering the city, you also want it to smell good.
To be fair, I definitely have seen and almost bought some like... Bought? I've almost purchased some, like, they're like little diffusers.
Yeah.
They're like little aromatherapy diffusers, necklaces, to like, so it's calming. So maybe the amulet is calming.
But anyway, the Borat's like, ha, I know you somewhat betrayed me, so I'm gonna kill you. He presses a button on his wheelchair, a red beam shoots out, and the leader, Renus, ages in front of us. And then it's just a skeleton standing there. And it falls down. Like, it's just standing for a second and then goes, clump.
It falls down and it sounds like this. When it hits the ground.
It's fucking hilarious. I laughed so hard. I think it's supposed to be terrifying. Oh no, it killed him.
I will say, the aging up is pretty scary.
Yeah.
And then it's a skeleton and you're like, oh no. I mean, it's a cheap looking skeleton, but okay. Yeah. And then that's really funny.
Also, there's like, it's just like a hollow, it's just the skull hitting the floor. And he like bends over like completely in half. Oh, it's so hilarious. I gifted it. It's good. And then he appoints Tecker to be the new Malin. Tecker was in the previous scenes. He's actually famous. He's actually been on Doctor Who before, but he's more famous for Blake 7. I will say the script is not great, but he is having a fun time.
Yeah.
He's like a little hammy. I don't know. He's like playing like a villain the way you want a villain to be played. Just sort of enjoying it gleefully. And what I heard was Colin Baker was on an episode of Blake 7 being very hammy. And this guy was like the main character on Blake 7 and was a bit annoyed about it. So now that he's on Doctor Who, he's just doing the same thing to Colin Baker.
As revenge?
That's revenge. I think so. Also, he kept saying like he wanted to play it like Richard III. He wanted a hump, but they wouldn't give it to him. But yeah, he's having a lot of fun. I like him a lot. I mean, this character is nothing, but he brings a little something to it. Yeah, but he's the new Malin now. Tecker says that Micros is a traitor because, I mean, he is technically, and they're going to throw him in the Timelash. As he's being taken, he whispers real quickly to Vina, like, the power is in the amulet, get the amulet. So she grabs it off of Tecker's neck. He's got it on a necklace. And then she just runs towards the Timelash, and an android drops Micros and then shoves her in instead. And Tecker's like, no, my amulet!
My black scented amulet! I need it to remain calm.
And because she got shoved through this, the TARDIS is also coming in at the same time. Her ghost flies through the TARDIS, and the TARDIS lands. Well, there's later a scene, I'm just going to say it now, where the Doctor, it's just the cameras on the Doctor's face as he's alone in the TARDIS, and it's him just doing math. He's going to go find Vina because she has the amulet. This is way later, but I'm just saying it now while it's on my mind because I don't think I left a note for it. But he's like figuring out the math of where she wound up because the corridor was headed to 1179, but she would have hit the TARDIS. So it would have shifted it so much, and then he figures out the year. It's like a coefficient of 700 years or some bullshit. It's dumb. You didn't need all that. Just have the time tunnel be to that one specific time. The end. You're going to have to do this weird math scene.
I love scenes where I watch people do math.
So, Tecker says the Boreal will kill everyone if he doesn't get the amulet back, so that's the priority. And it seems like everyone here knows of the Doctor, as it seems he has been there once before.
When we were watching this, I was like, is this a reference? Did we watch this? No. It's a reference to an adventure that we did not see. Apparently, with the third Doctor.
Which causes a little bit of a problem. So, Tecker comes out and greets the Doctor and is like, I want you to retrieve the amulet. Like, he's like, oh, you have a companion. And it's like, he questions the low number of companions he has. He says something like, only one companion?
Just the two of you?
The Doctor says something like, it's hard to find good help these days or some bullshit.
Something gross.
Yeah. But the thing is, we already learned it's 3. It's the third when he was here before, it was the third Doctor with Joe. That's one companion. Why is he confused about the fact that he only has one companion? I'm pretty sure Big Finish retconned this later. Big Finish or a novel, and had it be Joe and Yates.
Oh, not Benton?
No.
Just Yates?
No, I think it was like Joe and Yates were going on a date with him. I don't know. Some bullshit. Remember when they were trying to
make that a thing?
Yates and Joe. No. Yates and the Brig. Maybe. But yeah, it's clearly the writer didn't know. I think it being the third Doctor specifically wasn't in the original script. It was just he had been there before. There is a bit where someone opens the necklace and it has Joe Grant in it. That wasn't in there at all. It was originally just a Gallifrey thing.
I love it because it's so the Doctor's been there before. At some point, Perry has to prove that she's a companion to the Doctor, and that's why the amulet exists, right? Because she's like, the Doctor gave me this amulet.
No, not Perry though. It's one of the people that is questioning Perry.
Yeah, they have the amulet. The Doctor gave me this amulet the last time I was here. If you're really...
her grandfather or some shit.
Oh, yeah. If you really are a companion of the Doctor, you'll know who's in it. And they open it up and Joe Grant is in it. And I just have so many questions about the scenario wherein the Doctor gifted this person an amulet. I keep saying an amulet, but it's a locket.
Yeah, we've been saying amulet so much.
Because, yeah. It's a locket with a picture of Joe Grant. What is the scenario in which he gifted that locket to her?
Well, or her grandfather. What?
Yeah. I have questions. I generally don't give lockets
Of your friends?
of my friends
to some dude?
other people as gifts. Maybe I should start, though. To be fair, all my friends are super cute.
That's true.
It would make a good gift.
But also, what if Perry just didn't know who Joe Grant was? It's not like the doctor talks about his companions all the time, unless he's calling them by the wrong name. So at some point, Six had to sit down and talk to Perry like, this is Joe Grant. She looks like this.
My sister has a book for my niece and my nephew, who are 2 and 1. Actually, I think they've had birthdays since then. Or maybe 3 and 2. And she has books of, like, family members. It's just like a little book that she made. It's everybody's, like, picture and everybody's name, because we have a big family and they all live all over. And she kind of wanted to make sure that, like, he knew who people were. Especially, like, with people coming in town, and that he could be, like, they would have somewhat of an awareness of people. And I imagine that the doctor just has one of those with all of his companions, and he gives it to the new companions.
Nice. That's actually kind of adorable.
Yeah. So, like, here's my picture book. Here's all my regenerations. Here's pictures of all my regenerations. Here's pictures of all my past friends. Memorize them.
We might bump into them. Who knows?
Yeah.
They will look weirdly older than they're supposed to be. They get taken to, like, a garden, I guess, and Perry is very excited about plants. She goes to sniff a plant.
Because Perry's something of a botanist. Since when?
Well, to be fair, have we learned anything about Perry?
No. Well, you know what? And I would love this as if this was like a fact about her character that was established. I will bet good money that this never comes up again.
Oh, God, no. And then she's sniffing the plant, and, like, an android steals her necklace. I'm not entirely certain why.
It was reflective?
Oh.
That it was like a mirror? Is that...
It's a St. Christopher thing. Maybe that's why. Yeah, I don't know. Tecker sort of passes off as like, he's trying to protect you from this poisonous plant that we just keep out that spits acid at people.
It's just like, maybe you shouldn't leave this out. And he's like, that's a good point. You're very clever.
He gets a phone call, so he's like, I gotta go answer this. And then he just shoves the plant right in the doctor's face as he leaves the room. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say, Perry being like, my St. Christopher. I was like, has Perry been Catholic this whole time?
She's American. Americans are Catholic.
Americans are Catholic?
Sure, I don't know.
That's news to me.
You're American?
I'm an American Catholic.
Every Catholic you know, are they American?
I guess.
Well, there you go. Science checks out. The math checks out. The call he gets is from a Bandrel, the puppets we mentioned previously, who are like, hey, what the fuck? You're cutting off our food supply? Don't do that. If you don't give us our food, there's going to be war. And Tecker's like, good, bye, and hangs up.
I want there to be war.
The guy with him is like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I'm the Malin now, bitches. We're going to have some fun around here now.
We won't.
No, we won't. Then we cut to the doctor and Perry not having fun. Just sitting on a really cool looking couch being bored. It's like this green, I don't know, stair step couch thing. It looks rad
like
as hell.
Almost like they just stacked a bunch of cushions in like a Q-Bert situation.
It's the Q-Bert couch.
The Q-Bert couch.
And they note that there are no reflective surfaces and that everything looks dull here. But honestly, I think everything looks great.
Yeah.
Then the just randomest thing happens. Just a woman enters, hands Perry a note, and leaves. And the note says, Sejan at the Faucian Rocks. We never really learn who the fuck this person is or why they do this.
Nope. In fact, she doesn't even get there on purpose.
No.
She ends up at the place and is like, oh yeah, someone sent me a note to go here. Is that where I am? Like, what?
I don't understand the point of this.
Why have the note if she was gonna end up there on accident?
I'll tell you why the note in a minute when we get to the reason why the note is important. Because this writer doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. That's why. Tecker comes in and says he's arranged a tour for Perry while he talks to the doctor. She doesn't want to go because the doctor is like, had previously said, don't wander off. And then she's like, I don't want to wander off. And the doctor's like, go, have fun. She's like, what the fuck? Please be consistent. Basically, they're taking her away to be killed. Fed to a Morlocks. Because a guard is told to kill Perry. And he's like, what do I do?
Why do we even need...
We don't need any of this. Everything that's like...
third fucking monster. And it's fine.
And, like, the thing is, this plot point is unnecessary, and then also doesn't happen, but then does happen, and it's so fucking stupid. A guard is told to kill her, and he's like, what do I do with the body? He's like, I don't know, throw it in the caves, feed it to the Morlocks. We do this shit all the time.
We literally kill people every day. Why are you all of a sudden acting like you don't know how to do it?
It's like you're explaining it to the audience. And then Tecker again asks the doctor to find Vera and the amulet and basically threatens. The doctor's like, why would I do this for you anyway? And he's like, Perry, that's why we got her away from you, you dumb shit. We're going to use her as a hostage. Perry is brought to a room of plants. She sticks her tongue out at the acid one, which I thought was kind of funny.
It was cute.
And then a guard comes to grab her, and she throws the plant in his face, and he falls over dead. So, like, the thing doesn't happen. But then she runs out through a door into the cave where the Morlocks are.
Why are there so many steps to get to the same place?
Also, she says something really weird when she's wandering through the caves. It's something like, beautiful fragrance. And that's like the line.
I mean, was she sniffing a flower?
She was in a cave. She wasn't even sniffing a flower.
I don't know. I don't remember it.
Just remember, she has a lot of lines in this that are just so fucking weird. I'm like, what? Who wrote this? This is not the language of a human being.
Well, and if anyone can take stilted dialogue and really sell it, it's not Perry.
What is it? She later says, maybe it's because of my caring nature.
Yes.
Good God.
Completely straight-faced and completely wooden.
She has said that scene is her worst acting in the whole series.
Bless.
But she bumps into a Morlocks, which is just a, I don't know, it's a dino head on a long neck. We don't see its body ever. It's just
fine.
a long
As
neck
much as
with a
we've
head.
been like praising the design, this is fine.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's serviceable.
It works. Meanwhile, in another fucking plot line, we meet Herbert.
God, this...
Herbert appears to be trying to contact spirits. He has letters arranged in a circle and a glass cup that he's moving around in the center. Like he's doing a fucking Ouija board, basically.
I feel the need to say, we watched Herbert do his thing for a little bit, and I'm like, I think I hate this motherfucker.
Then the cup starts moving by itself, and then Vina appears and passes out. And he's like, I found me a ghost!
He says it exactly like that.
So I'm just going to say who the fuck this guy is, because I figured it out pretty quickly. I think anybody could. I don't think you're supposed to. I think the end is supposed to be, you're supposed to go, what?
Oh.
But if you know what a fucking Morlocks is, and this guy says he's a writer, and his name is Herbert, he's H.G. Wells. Morlocks are the future creatures from the Time Machine. There's a lot of references to H.G. Wells. We'll get some more of them as we go through. But the problem is, the guy who wrote this on the documentary is talking about, like, he was a big fan of H.G. Wells and has been studying him and stuff. And, like, did you? Because you got things wrong. Like, H.G. Wells was not a spiritualist. Also, his hair color is wrong.
You're wanting Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yeah, I think he's thinking of Arthur Conan Doyle. He did not go by Herbert. He went by George. I don't know. Everything about him is kind of off and wrong. It's one of the things that like a lot of people were pointing out is like, does he even know who the guy who wrote this even know who H.G. Wells is?
Yeah, he's a big fan. The whole time I was just like, I'm gonna imagine this serial as if it's the H.G. Wells from Warehouse 13. Because at least there'd be a hot Victorian woman in it.
I will say this guy's not he's the worst, but he's kind of the worst in like a fun way.
Yeah. I mean, he's like a overexcitable puppy where you're like, I need you to chill. And I'm like the old dog who's like, listen, I'm just gonna lay here and eat my snacks and I need you not to be all over me.
He gets a few funny bits. I think it would have been better if they just said he was H.G. Wells instead of trying to, like, hide it.
Make it some kind of reveal. It's not like he's super utilized anyway. He gets introduced here and it's like, doesn't do anything for a while.
Does he do anything ever?
No. I think
he saves the doctor's life once.
Yeah.
Anyway, he thinks Vina is a ghost. Then Sejan and Katz show up to shoot the Morlocks and save Perry. And then a random android just appears in front of them on fire. And at the time I was like, that was weird. And it does not get explained till next episode. And even then it's a little like, I don't fully follow this, but cool. But Perry's now with this group of rebels. She still doesn't know that his name is Sejan. It happens in a scene we'll get to in just a second. But Vina finally wakes up. She passed out when she appeared in front of Herbert. Herbert introduces himself, thinks she's a ghost, hopes that she's from above, not below. The doctor arrives, and she's like, oh no, they've come for the amulet. Can't let them have it. You have to stop them. And he just grabs a Bible and a crucifix and is like shoving them in the doctor's face. This is the only bit that I thought was like super funny. And then the doctor just completely is like, who the fuck are you? Get the fuck out of my way. Just doesn't give a shit about this guy at all. And he just starts talking to Vina, and Vina just like, oh, you're the doctor? And is like getting excited. And he's just like, don't speak to the demon. And she's like, why not? And the doctor's like, yeah, why not? We're having a chat. Shh. And then he like tries to swing the Bible down on the doctor, and he just casually ducks out of the way and continues talking to Vina. It's really funny. Then we get more fucking exposition from Sejan about the Bandrels, those puppet dudes, have a bomb that kills all organic material except for the Morlocks.
Why?
I don't know why it doesn't kill the Morlocks. It's to set up something later.
It's so...
He even says something like, isn't that ironic or some shit? And I'm like, is it? I don't fucking know or care.
I would like to have a bomb that you could attack with Earth that kills all life except for bears.
And then you make yourself half bear and you're golden.
And then...
Perry finally hears his name, Sejan, and she's like, Sejan, this is Faucian rocks? I got a note. And then she can't find it because she dropped it when she ran away the first time. That's why she had to have the note. Because she's like, I can't find the note. And then all of the beekeepers come in.
Okay, why couldn't they have just followed her?
This writer is not good. The writer doesn't think you'll be able to follow if they just followed her. There has to be a scene where they talk about a note.
There's so many steps for nothing to happen.
Though there is she's like, I lost the note, like after the beekeepers have arrived. And then Sejan's like, no shit. But anyway, the doctor tells Vina that they're going to defeat the Borab, but they need to return the amulet. The amulet is needed to power the city. So we do have to do that, but then we'll defeat the Borad. But he wants Vina to stay with Herbert, so she'll stay out of harm's way, but she refuses, of course. Herbert wants to go with, but the doctor refuses, of course. And then it's like, Herbert's like, all right, fine, see ya, have fun. And he's going to stay behind. And then the doctor and Vina are on board the TARDIS and it's leaving, and they're talking. And then Herbert just walks out of a room on the TARDIS. Like, it's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. Did you know that? The doctor's like, yes! What the fuck are you doing here? This scene's pretty good, too.
Yeah. How he's just standing in like, it's some kind of time machine.
I have a great idea about going to the center of the earth now. So they go back to the town. They give Tekra the amulet. And then he's like, thanks. I'm going to send you all to the Timelash. And they're like, what? And then they start dragging the doctor to the Timelash. And that is the end of episode 1. Oh, by the way, small minor note. The doctor also stole Herbert's mirror. That'll be important for some reason. And then that's the end of episode 1. We're now into episode 2, which I've called The Time Slip.
God, we're halfway done, but I am so tired and so bored.
So, fun fact.
Will it be fun?
No. Episode 1 was too long.
Yes.
So they cut some stuff out. Episode 2 was too short. So they filmed more shit.
Oh my God.
They got H.G. Wells back to film. Do you remember that incredibly long fucking TARDIS scene at the end of episode 2?
Yes, it was so long.
That's the shit they filmed. And then, like, they were like, we're actually have enough things for both episodes if we just shift the cliffhanger. And, like, J&T was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to shift the cliffhanger because that doesn't work. I think they wrote all this additional material and it's fucking bad.
Why? Listen to me, J&T. Why? It was not the right call, okay?
I mean, filming this serial wasn't the right call. So the doctor's being pushed towards the Timelash. He pulls the mirror out of his pocket and then uses it to make the robot dance. I don't know what he's doing. He's just like, huh, 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 huh. And the android's like, what the fuck? I can't compute. Oh God, there's a mirror. I don't know what he's doing.
I didn't understand it when I was watching it.
Look goofy as hell. Everyone springs into action, locking people out of this room and then shoving people into the Timelash. And then basically, Micros, Vina, and Herbert and the doctor all have control of this room now. And they're like, well, what are we going to do now? And the doctor's like, I'm going to enter the Timelash. Meanwhile, Perry is led around by the neck.
Oh, it's awful.
And chained to a wall by her neck. And then later she is tied up for Morlocks to come get her. This is spread out through the episode, but I've just shoved it all into one thing because she doesn't do a lot besides be a prisoner.
Cut to her being chained up every now and again, and you're like, thanks, I hate it.
The first time it shows her going down the hallway, she's like, this is hurting me. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure they know that. And then the second time she's like, this is still hurting me. I think they know, Perry. I don't think they're too concerned. But then the doctor enters the Timelash. And it is the set of Guts.
It's so
Nickelodeon's Guts.
Good. Oh, it's so good.
It's just like some crystals. There's like some pillars sticking out of the wall. And the doctor's like on a rope going down. And he's pulling crystals out of these pillars. And there's silver tinsel everywhere. There's like a filter on the camera. And this scene lasts for 30 minutes. The set looks cool as hell. But it lasts for so fucking long.
Like, he's getting lowered down by this rope, and he has to get these crystals. And why does he have to get these crystals?
I'll explain in a minute. But
okay.
He has to get 2 of them, too. It's not that he can't just get one.
Right. He can't be like, I got the MacGuffin. Send me back up. It's like, okay, I got one. Now watch me fiddle around for 15 more minutes to get the second one.
There's a bit where Vina, like, peers into it, and she's like, he's hanging on the edge of oblivion.
I think he's just standing on some styrofoam, actually. He seems fine.
At some point, both Micros and Herbert have to go in there to, like, pull him back out because he's, like, being sucked into it. So it's like, there's too much pressure and he can't get back up. I don't know.
Is it like a black hole at the bottom? Is that...
Sure. I don't know. There's some sort of sucky force.
Yes.
The doctor is getting sucked off the thing. I refuse to word that better.
Okay.
So that happens for 9 billion years. Borad calls into Tecker on the screen, the human-looking Borad, and says if he'll kill Tecker if he disappoints him, but Tecker thinks he's going to like what he has to say. And he also tells his bud, like he's got like a henchman, or a second in command named Kindred, who's worried this whole time. He's been like, why are we going to war with the Bandrels? Why are we doing this? And he's like, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. He's like, you know what? I think the Borad's going to like us so much, he's going to give you a promotion. Like, in the call with the Borad stands up, and then he is led away by an android, and when he turns around, there's just fucking wires and shit coming out of the back of his head. Because he's not really the Borad. He's also an android! What? And that's basically all they used this actor for. What a shame.
It's also not a reveal because we've already seen him.
I mean, we've already seen the real... Well, we haven't full
on...
Not
his face, but like, we know he has like a fin for a hand or whatever.
Yeah, we know that this guy we've been seeing is not the real Borad.
This scene holds no dramatic... information whatsoever.
Looks cool, though.
Yeah.
So, Tecker and Kendron get to the Borad's office, and Borad's like, what did you want to tell me? And then he's like, Kendron's a traitor. Like, just seconds before he's like, this is gonna go well, and you're gonna get a promotion. And then he's immediately like, oh, he's a traitor.
This is some legitimately good writing. I will give you this. This is good.
Fucking hilarious. And then he's like, what? What the fuck? No! I've always served you, Borad. And then he gets turned into a skeleton and... yeah. So the androids set up a weird gun outside of the Timelash room that they have to, like, sit inside of? I don't know. It's very weird. They're trying to tear down the door. As they're doing that, the doctor has been getting everybody to tear apart stuff so he can make something with these crystals. He makes... an invisibility necklace, basically. Invisibility? I wonder, what if I wrote a story about going to the center of the earth?
Is it invisibility?
I mean, that's what Herbert's like. It's an invisible man, because we gotta do that bullshit. But, it's not invincibility, because he's like, you turn invisible, and he's like, no, it's not that.
I just want to know if I understand the mechanic by which this thing works.
It's a 10-second time slip.
It's a 10-second visual delay. So, like,
yes.
You freeze for 10 seconds. Your visuals freeze for 10 seconds.
Well, I think he actually jumped forward in time 10 seconds and then shifted the visual of himself forward a further 10 seconds.
No,
I don't
think
know. Because why did he disappear?
He disappeared? I thought he was still there.
Okay, yeah, wait, he was still there, but he just shifted his visuals 10 seconds to the future.
No, 10 seconds. His visuals are 10 seconds in the past. Like, he already did it. That's why he was invisible. Right? Like, he was doing things and you're looking at him 10 seconds ago.
No, yeah, but I mean, the visuals did shift 10 seconds into the future. The visual, just the image.
Oh, I thought he was 10 seconds in the future and the visual was 10 seconds in the past.
No, because he turns invisible, or that's what it appears, right? You don't see anything. They're like, where'd he go? And then, like, Sejan gets knocked back and Herbert gets knocked back. And then he appears back in his seat. And then they're like, doctor, and they like run their hand through him, and her hand goes right through him, right? And then he gets up, and then he shoves twice in the places where Sejan and Herbert were. And then he sits back down, and then like time catches up, and he's solid again. He does stuff. He's basically invisible, but then his visual gets shifted 10 seconds into the future.
Okay.
Just sending the visual information 10 seconds into the future.
Are you sure it's all the other way around?
Yes, because he goes invisible, they get shoved by presumably nothing. Then we see him get up and shove after that.
Yeah.
They've already been shoved, and then we see the doctor shove thin air, and he's not tangible because that's just his image. He was projecting his image 10 seconds into the future.
Okay.
I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But there's a second crystal that does a separate thing, so...
Oh, God.
But also, after he does that 10-second thing, he gives it to Herbert, and he's like, it's science fiction, which it's not.
That's really happening. It's science fiction.
To be fair, the doctor looks at him like, what the fuck?
What are you talking
You
about?
dumbass.
I will say I like this because sometimes you have a tendency to kind of mythologize historical figures. There's this tendency to like go back in the past and have the doctor be like, oh my God, I'm so excited to meet this Winston Churchill. And it's like, maybe you shouldn't be. So it is actually kind of funny for once to see the doctor just not know and be like, this guy kind of fucking sucks. H.G. Wells is kind of getting on my last nerve.
There's so many times where he's like, don't worry about me, doctor. And he's like, I 100% am not. So
I'm not thinking about you at all. I do like that dynamic for the doctor and like somebody of historical significance that I don't think is done enough.
I kind of like that too. We should have just more tearing apart historical figures instead.
We're not even tearing apart, just being neutral, you know?
Yeah.
Just being like, you are a human and I feel neutral towards you.
But the other thing the other crystal does is it absorbs energy and then shoots it back at you.
Sure. Why not?
I don't know.
Whatever.
He's got this thing.
It's
he's
fine.
like, he wants to send an android an hour into the past. Why? I don't know. To get rid of him, the androids come in and he shoots one back an hour into the past. And guess what? It's on fire. It's that one we saw in episode 1. Ooh.
Oh.
Cool.
God.
Cool.
I'm dying. Are we? And then a bunch of things happen.
The thing is, it doesn't just happen either. He doesn't just do it and then it happens and you're like, oh, okay, that's where that android come from. There's a whole fucking scene where they're like, oh wait, that would explain the burning android in the past. And then the doctor's like, what? You didn't need that. You should have just done it. And then people would have been like, they would have connected those two things together.
We can do it, I swear.
We don't have to have everything told to us before it happens. And then there's a shootout happening while they shoot the android back into the past or whatever. But an android shoots the wall and the wall crumbles away, revealing a mural of the third Doctor, painted by an American, by the way.
Really?
I don't remember his name.
There are multiple things that I like about this. 1, it's bonkers, so it's great. 2, at
they had
what
to
point
hit the exact right spot.
did they spackle over the mural of the third Doctor? Like, we don't need that anymore. It was probably a bad
creepy old
call.
Man staring at us.
Yeah. It's actually really weird, like, the longer we look at it and it looks back at us.
It's fine. He gave everybody all these lockets of people. I don't know.
Do you think everyone there has just, like, somebody's walking around with different lockets of different people?
It'd have to be third Doctor back. So we got a Joe, we've got Liz Shaw, we got a Bennett, we got a Yates, we got Ben and Polly and Jamie and Ian and Barbara. All of them. They're just lockets everywhere. All of them. Dodo. But yeah, it's not super important or anything. We already know it was the third Doctor because of the Joe Grant thing.
It's just nice. It's just nice to have.
Also, at this point, we learned that the Bandrels are on their way to attack them. Because we need a backup plot for when the serial should have fucking ended. And then there's more stuff that happens. Anyway, we'll get to there. The Doctor rushes off to go take care of the Borad. Herbert joins him despite the Doctor continually telling him fucking not to. They get outside the door of the Borad, and then the Doctor does say, I'm going in there alone. Do not come in here. Please. I'm begging you. You're annoying. But he goes in. But Herbert, climbs a fucking ladder and watches him from a balcony. He watches this whole scene from a balcony. Also, he got some weird binoculars that the Doctor made so that whoever looks through them can see the real him as well as the time-shifted him.
Fine.
Just for no fucking reason other than...
Fine, whatever.
We need to be able to visually see this later. That's actually what he said was science fiction, was that device, the binoculars thing.
Science fiction.
Before he climbs up that ladder and the Doctor goes into the board, the Doctor tells him, if anything happens to me, go find Perry. And then he's like, okay, cool. H.G. Wells has no idea who Perry is.
H.G. Wells has not met Perry one time in this whole serial.
Hasn't seen her. Did the Doctor fucking give him a locket?
Yeah, he's got a locket with Perry's picture in it.
But he seems to act like he knows who Perry is, though he has had no scenes with her or anything. So Herbert is watching from above as the Doctor goes to talk to Borad, and we finally reveal that Borad is half Morlocks. He's genetically combined himself with a Morlocks. Honestly, this looks rad as hell. It's a really good design. It's if he turns his face one way, he looks like full on reptile looking thing, and then if he turns the other way, he looks like a human. It's like a two-faced thing. It looks really cool, though they're weird about it.
How many weird Phantom of the Opera villains are we going to get where it's like, I look bad, so I'm evil now?
Yeah.
Because people look at me and cry. How often are we gonna do it? Because we can stop. We've had enough. We've done plenty. We don't need to do any more. We don't.
I agree with you. It's bad?
It's bad.
The Borad's basically the Banjo's going to come destroy all life with this bomb, except for the Morlocks, and I'm half Morlock, so I'll be fine. And then once they do that, I'll kill them, and I'll roll over this planet.
How does he know he won't be half fine?
You're right. What if it's just one half of them is gone?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But then
none of these stakes are important.
Tecker is like, what? You're going to kill everyone? You won't kill my people. And he objects and then is turned into a skeleton. And fun fact.
Is it going to be fun?
He originally did not. He just was killed in the original script. He did not be like, oh, you can't do that. You can't kill everyone. He didn't have
Didn't have any lines?
Yeah. He just got killed. And then, I think Eric Sayward was like, he should have, a little moment here where he's like, no, I won't let you do this. Sort of last minute heroicism or whatever.
Right.
But who gives a shit? And then we get another gross thing that we get all the fucking time. So, how he combined himself with the Morlocks was this gas stuff.
Sorry, I'm getting heated by how fucking stupid everything from this point on is.
When he was experimenting with these Morlocks, he had this gas canister and it went off. The gas mixed with him and it caused him to mix with the Morlocks. So he has attached a similar gas canister, because apparently the Morlocks are attracted to this gas. He has attached a canister to Perry, who they have put in the caves to be threatened by a fucking Morlocks, because he's hoping that the Morlocks will attack the gas canister and Perry and the Morlocks will combine. And then Borad will have a wife, because the Doctor's like, if you kill everybody, how are you going to continue the race or whatever? And he's like, I'm going to have a bride and it shall be Perry.
Why?
That's bad. Stupid. Everybody is so fucking horny for Perry. In the worst, it's so gross. It's gross.
Also, it's not like they had scenes together.
No. Well, he did see her on the cameras a lot, and he's like, save her for me.
Gross.
It's the fucking guy from that other serial. It's the same thing.
Well, no, it's Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, it's always Phantom of the Opera.
Well, again, we've done it. We've done it enough. We thoroughly covered this thing.
Speaking of...
We can be done.
Herbert's watching this. He sees the guy with the half face, right? And the combination of creatures, combining creatures. So he's like, what if I write a story about that? And they go to the center of the earth. Wait, did he write Journey to the Center of the Earth, or was that Jules Verne?
I don't know.
I just realized I don't think he wrote that.
I never read Journey to the Center of the Earth, so I just took your word for it. I was like, that doesn't sound right, but Joe must know. He's made the joke 3 times now.
Fuck, it's Jules Verne. God.
Wow.
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 Oh, boy.
Wow.
Listen, I'm not a smart man.
What? You were so confident about it, too. You're like, I know this well enough to make jokes about it.
I was getting on to the writer of this serial for not knowing anything about H.G. Wells, and it turns out it was me.
You don't know
Me all
shit
the
about
time.
H.G. Wells.
But no, that would be the island of Dr. Moreau. That is H.G. Wells, right?
Is it?
God.
It is.
Okay, it is. So yeah, that's, combining people.
I only know The Time Machine and War of the Worlds.
I do know the island of Dr. Moreau is referenced in a Boingo song, so No Spill Blood.
Oh, yeah.
Walk on 2 legs, not on 4 to walk on 4 legs breaks the law. Anyway, that's all from Island of Dr. Moreau, I believe. The Borad tries to age the doctor, but he time slips around as Herbert watches with those special binoculars. Eventually, he's like, don't shoot me or it will backfire on you. And he does it, and it backfires on him. And then the Borad starts to age, and he's like, you tricked me! And the doctor says, you tricked yourself.
What stellar fucking dialogue.
Apparently that piece of dialogue comes back with the 7th Doctor at some point. What a serial to reference, huh? The Borad ages and dies, turns into a skeleton. Fucking dead. He doesn't, he's still in his chair. It's
That's
like
the best one I've done, though.
That's it, Borad's dead. Episode's over. Guess what? We still got 20 fucking minutes
We
of this
literally checked. We're like, well, that's the end. Why is it still going? We can't have that much more left. 20 fucking minutes is what we have left.
What? The doctor tells Herbert to go find Perry. Again, he does not know her. He's only seen her a little bit on the screen at this point. But he goes and saves her.
Well, that's enough to fall in love.
Does he fall in love with her?
No, but that's all
I
the...
wouldn't be surprised with this piece of shit.
That's all the Borad had interacted with her.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Herbert goes for Perry as the doctor presses a button on the Borad's chair to unlock her shackles. She doesn't run away. She just continues to scream at this Morlocks. She can run away.
She's not, like, chained.
No.
And she's not, like, blocked in. People come up from where she could have ran and is like, they pull her away.
Herbert does. He waves a torch at it, and they run off. And even still, at this point, I'm like, all right, we got everybody good to go? We good to go? But guess what? There's the Bandrels. Oh no, they're coming, and they've shot a missile at them. And the doctor calls in and is like, I'm here to negotiate. I'm a Time Lord. You can't kill a Time Lord. Also, we got rid of the dictator, so it's all fine here. And they're like, no thanks. And then hang up. And it's like, oh fuck, there's a bomb coming. I'm like, no! So the doctor gets in the TARDIS and he's going to try to do something. Perry comes with him and he's like, no, you can't come with us.
And Perry seems to pick up on this, right?
Well, there is a bit where he literally picks her up and carries her to the door.
Right, but I mean, Perry knows what that means.
Yeah, I think so. She's eventually like, oh, this is a suicide mission, and gets out.
This Herbert motherfucker, however, is dense.
Yeah, because she leaves finally, and then he snuck on board and is hiding. And then the doctor starts the TARDIS going, and then he just pops up and goes, hello. And the doctor goes, hi. What? Which is also kind of funny. This is the scene that lasts for 3 fucking years, though. I kept going, is this scene still happening? Is this scene still happening? Well, the doctor's like, what are you doing here? He basically says, this is a suicide mission. And he's like, what? He's like, did you not hear what I said to Perry? And he's like, yeah, but She's a woman. This is a job for men.
I'm here. I'm ready to be a man and have adventures.
To be fair to the doctor, he says, like, it's not a particularly masculine thing to end your life or whatever. And then that's when he's like, what? He's like, yeah, did you not hear? I thought I was I was lying to her, and I thought it was pretty obvious. But, I guess you're dumb as a fucking brick.
The scene lasts forever of H.G. Wells being like, I don't want to die. Oh my god, I can't believe I've done this. I'm gonna die. And then being like, I'm ready. I think I could die. if it's important and it'll be in the cause of something, then it'll be good that I die. But then I'll be dead? And it will suck being dead. I'm ready. I'm ready to die. Like, he
Does
just
this thing
grapples.
have lifeboats? No, it doesn't have lifeboats. Well, I would complain with the manufacturer. It goes on for so long. And it's just the whole time the doctor is just like, please, shut the fuck up. The whole time. He's just beyond annoyed with H.G. Wells. It's a little much. Though I do like the bit where he's like, look at this screen and tell me the numbers. And he's like, which screen? He's like, how many screens do you see in front of you? And he's like, one. That one. God.
H.G. Wells, you're a mess.
So basically, he does a thing with the TARDIS that's going to blow up the missile, but it's going to also blow up the TARDIS or whatever. And then the missile hits them, and then they fucking die, presumably.
And that's
Perry
the end.
Maybe sad for a second. And then the angels are like moved by the doctor's sacrifice. So they're like, let's have peace talks now. But guess what? The fucking Borad grabs Perry. What? The Borad's fucking dead. I saw his skeleton 5 fucking seconds ago. No, it wasn't 5 seconds ago. It was 50 years ago because that TARDIS scene lasted my entire fucking life.
Do you think you're gonna die at 50?
Yeah. I have the decency to end things quickly. Unlike this serial. But it turns out he cloned himself.
Why? Because we still have time to fill.
So this causes a thing that I thought about, and it was apparently in the original script that they wrote out, which is that he cloned himself, so he actually doesn't care about having Perry as a bride, because he can fucking clone himself. He doesn't need Perry to continue the race.
So he just wants to be a pervert weirdo.
Well, in the original script, I don't think he cared at all about having Perry. And then they're like, no, and then they wrote that out and then wrote in that he does want Perry. Even though he says he cloned himself, I'm like, yeah, why would he need Perry? He's clone himself. Clone himself. Also, why can't he clone himself? It's fucking stupid. I hate this. Why is this still going on? And then the doctor and Herbert just walk in, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
There's so much in the end here that's just like, well, everything's solved. Surprise, it's not! And after we've over-explained everything so much, it's like, oh, well, I cloned myself. Oh, and how the doctor and Herbert survive.
I'll tell you later.
I'll tell you later.
There was an explanation for it, but they're just like, no.
What was it?
It's, just some fucking garbage.
Not satisfying.
Just some, techno-babble bullshit. I did a thing with the field and then it just shot away.
I reversed the polarity of the neutron
The
flow.
coefficient was 700. This is a journey to the center of the earth. What happens now is the doctor bullies the Borad. He just keeps calling him ugly. And he's like, hey, how about you let Perry look at you and if she screams, you don't marry her. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. And he's like, chicken, you fucking ugly chicken, you gross ugly chicken. And then the doctor gets a chair and then bashes the mural, the third Doctor mural, revealing a mirror underneath it.
Which is...
Why?
What?
Huh? What? I guess the doctor knew it was there because he'd been there before, but
there's so many questions.
I don't care. At this point, I don't care. So I just want this to be over. Then Perry sees the Borad in the reflection and screams because he's ugly. And the doctor's like, right? And then the Borad's like, cover the mirror. And he's running around and he runs up the fucking ramp in front of the Timelash. The doctor turns the Timelash on and then's like, by the way, you're ugly. And then bumps him.
It's so fucking rude. Also, could you imagine if this happened and then they all were like, we did it. Ha ha ha. And then a third Borad came out. And I was like, yeah, we've got lots of clones. We were planning on killing off and repopulating the Earth. But they have to defeat them one by one. And this is the show now. This is their lives and this is our lives.
You know what? We're still not done with dumb bullshit. So we forgot to mention when H.G. Wells was in Scotland when we were back on Earth near a certain lake, a loch, if you will.
Oh, God. It doesn't even make sense.
Because they're like, well, where did the fucking Borad go? Borad's Nessie. They basically say the Borad is the Loch Ness Monster. Because the doctor's like, at least he'll have somewhere to swim for a few hundred years. But won't he be seen now and then?
What does that mean?
Also, we've had Nessie on this show twice before, and neither one of them were that guy.
And none of them are this fucking stupid.
What was the purpose of that? And also, he does not look... What, does he fucking grow? He's just dude-sized. I don't understand any of this bullshit. Then the doctor throws his crystal necklace into the time lash and it destroys it. Somehow, he doesn't explain how he got out of the thing. And then Herbert's like, I want to stay. And the doctor's like, I don't think you will because... And he pulls out a business card to show Perry and it says Herbert George Wells. What? Who knew?
Oh, we've been with H.G. Wells this whole time.
I still feel really bad that I said Journey to the Center of the Earth so many damn times.
So many times. You decided to make it a running bit.
I did.
You absolute chuckle fuck.
But that's it. That's finally, they call Herbert and he joins, and then I guess he's a companion now. He's in the next 7 serials.
Fine.
He's not. This is the only one he's in. That's it. That's the end of, what the fuck is this called? Timelash. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back for final thoughts. You'll be surprised to hear what they are.
Welcome to Dr. Geek's Laboratory.
Hello everyone, Dr. Geek here with a shout out to all the scientists who worked tirelessly to bring a COVID-19 vaccine into reality. Let's face it, creating something of this magnitude is a miracle worthy of Dr. McCoy himself. And now, Dr. Geek needs you to do your part. Remember, each shot is one small step back to normal, one giant leap to putting the pandemic behind us. We can do this. For more information, visit vaccines.gov to find your nearest provider.
I'm Brittany Smith. I'm Martha Bartlett. And this is But First, Let's Talk Nerdy. Clink. Oh, how was that? That's going to be our promo. Done. Cut it, Kevin. Send it. Bam.
But first, let's talk nerdy. It's 2 nerd girls talking about nerdy things over a couple of drinks. What could go wrong? Part of the ESO network.
And we're back. Tony, do you know what time it is?
Yes, I do.
What time is it?
Oh, you want me to tell you?
Yes, please.
What time it is?
Yes, tell me what time it is.
Do you actually want me to tell you what time it is?
I would like you to tell me what time it is.
It's 10:50.
I
asked if you wanted me to tell you what time it was.
No!
It's time for final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I fucking hated it.
This is one of my most favorite episodes that we've ever watched. The cereal sucks balls.
You know what? Not the worst, though.
Not the worst. We were watching it, and we had so many... Sometimes, you get to things, and people have opinions before you watch them. And sometimes you're like, I actually kind of like that one, or whatever. So we had a lot of negative opinions on this one. We knew it wasn't going to be fun, but we did get through it.
To be fair, what some people were saying was like, it's not bad, it's just boring. And that's fucking fair.
I said, if you had to watch this or Time Flight again.
Oh, fucking this in a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat. Because Time Flight is infuriating.
I literally had a headache after we watched Time Flight.
And here's the thing, because I feel like they're bad in different ways. I feel like it's literally a scale of Time Flight to Timelash. Time Flight is like, every fucking thing is happening. Every fucking goddamn thing is everyone shut up for a minute while I try to figure out what's happening in this stupid cereal.
I don't understand a goddamn thing.
And in Timelash, nothing is happening. And they're so happy to explain it to you. Nothing is happening. And let me spend 40 minutes explaining to you how nothing is happening in great detail. And that is the, opposite ends that they're both on.
To me, this one felt more like a sort of the Power of Kroll's sort of situation.
Yeah.
Which also had a similar thing of if I'm not remembering incorrectly, that serial also ended and then had a whole extra, bit where it's like, oh, now we gotta defuse a bomb. And why? We defeated the giant brain thing. Why do we gotta fucking defuse a bomb now? This one was like, Borat's back now for some reason.
He was a clone, hurrah! I do appreciate episodes like this, because I feel like it reminds you of, the constraints of creating something on a specific schedule. Sometimes your TV show is just done. Sometimes you just need a deadline. And that's all
I don't think that's what happened here, though.
No?
Because they went back and filmed more shit.
But that's what I'm saying. They came up short, and they were like, well, we're short, and we need to get done, and we have 20 minutes to fill. I mean, there was a wrong decision made, for sure. There was a weak script. There was a wrong decision made not to shift the cliffhanger.
They filmed 4 minutes, I believe, of extra material for episode 2, which is all that TARDIS stuff.
Wow.
Yep.
But this is what I mean. Like, you watch soap operas and you're like, wow, these are so, like, cheesy and bad. But then you think about, like, this shit aired daily. Like, it's crazy that it exists in any form at all. And that's how I feel sometimes with, like, clunkers of Doctor Who episodes. You're like, probably some crazy stupid bullshit happened, and it's amazing that they got this done within the deadline. And you know what? The design team really fucking just designed their heart out. God bless them. They at least gave me something to look at.
I've also heard from this point on, the 6 Doctor episodes from this point on, none of them are as bad as this one.
Oh,
so,
good.
That's something.
I think we're done. I literally have no more thoughts about this.
Yeah, I want to take a nap. Or go to bed. It's like 11.
Yeah, I'm ready for bed.
Is there anything we need to plug before we go?
Yeah, please watch The Unseen World. You can watch it online. Watch.itsrealgoodtv.com. Yes, It's Real Good TV is also an app, so you can download it on your Roku. I think it's on the Apple TV now.
You can get it on your phone if you want to.
You can get it on Android devices. You can get it on Apple devices. You can get it on Roku. We haven't rolled out the Fire Stick yet, and there's like a couple other devices we aren't on yet, but we are working on it. We're gonna be on all of them eventually. Download the It's Real Good TV app, and then you can watch The Unseen World. You can rate it if you watch an episode that you really like. And please do that. We've got, I think, like 23 episodes out, and they're all really fun. Oh, I think I'm gonna start filming season 3 soon, which is, wow, we have had paused production for, 2020, so it's a little terrifying. I don't know if I remember how to do it.
It's like riding a bike.
God, I hope so. Like, if you enjoy my vibe, thank you. It's all over that thing. So if you enjoy Matt Golden's vibe, it's all over that thing.
If you enjoy vibes in general.
If you're a fan of vibes, please watch The Unseen World. Please watch it. If you enjoy an episode, maybe tell us on social media. The more buzz that is around it, the more my bosses are impressed with me, which is a thing that I like to have happen. I think that's the only thing I have to plug.
Check out the DIP, DIPP. I write articles there. I'm doing the Comics Completist series, where I'm watching all the comic book adaptations in order.
They're very good.
I've watched all of 1941, 1942, and 1943, but I finished up the Superman cartoons and watched the first Batman serial. Spoilers, it's boring and racist.
Yay!
Yay! But it's been a lot of fun, and you can find all of that stuff at the articles that I've written specifically at thedip.com/author/Joe.
You can also check out other people on the Dip.
Read other people's stuff. Some of it is free, some of it's behind a paywall, but pay for it. It's good.
There's good stuff in there.
It keeps me working. But if you liked this episode of the podcast, you can check out more on WatchYourRassilon.com. And if you'd like to help us out, you can leave a review on iTunes. You can also become a Patreon patron at patreon.com/Watch-A-Thon. Or you can sponsor an episode by purchasing a DVD or Blu-ray from our Amazon wish list at WatchYourRassilon.com/support. I will mention you on the podcast and put your name on our Friends of Rassilon page. Speaking of, special thanks again to Ian McLean for sponsoring this episode.
Hey, thanks, Ian. I gave him a hey, thanks.
I also want to give a special shout out to Vincent E.L. for providing us with our amazing theme song.
Thank you, Vince.
Check out more of their music at soundcloud.com/VincentEL or VincentEL.bandcamp.com. Tune in next time when we finish the first proper season of the 6th Doctor.
Wow.
When we talk about Revelation of the Daleks? I've heard it's actually all right.
All right.
We'll see. Until then, until next time, until we meet again, keep calm and Rassilon.
Goodbye, and I love you in a platonic, parasocial way.
I love you so much. We're an Asthma podcast. Go sleep. Or come. I don't know what you're supposed to do in an Asthma podcast.
It's science.
He's dangling on the edge of oblivion.
Fiction.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping for the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.